Hey guys, number one Marmaduke fan here. I think I'm gonna shoot for like a super short review without a bunch of tangents because I think I've got my concrete point down pat. So I won't go on a long tangent about my childhood to try to stretch it to 10 minutes. So I'm looking at Victor LaValle's Destroyer. I had a weird sense of deja vu the whole time I was reading it because this was a hit on comics Twitter in 2017. Air quotes around hit, like everybody was making fun of like how much Trump derangement syndrome is in this alternative facts joke. And oh, Donald Trump, he's an idiot who got an F, but you put him in a class with genius children. So are you saying that Donald Trump is a genius child? Victor LaValle? Oh, you know what they say about kids? If they're getting Fs in class, that probably means they're bored. And they're actually ahead of the rest of the class. So Donald Trump is the smartest man on earth. Quote Victor LaValle. All right, so as I was reading this, I actually was kind of charmed at first and really interested in the Frankenstein thing. And I kind of dimly remembered maybe like a video from someone saying, it's not that bad. My interpretation of Victor LaValle's Destroyer is Victor LaValle is debating with himself about social justice. And so he's actually trying to make an overall point that is somewhat sweet, but he's kind of messing it up. And I think maybe the illustration of it is if you are a good writer, you could write a villain who holds an evil ideology and make that villain interesting. And in fact, it almost gets terrifying. Like one of the reasons Heath Ledger's Joker is so terrifying is there's something kind of primally cool about him, or he speaks to something within you. I think this is why there's so much fear about the Joker movie, is he represents not just anarchy, but the part of like the human person that desires that kind of destruction. Anything else for that? And there's Joker memes. Gamers rise up. We live in a society. All right, so I think Victor LaValle's trying to debate with himself about social justice, but imagine the difference between like a really amazing comic book with Osama bin Laden as the main character versus a sitcom where it's like 1990s My Mama Osama, where he's on the run from the CIA, but he's disguised himself as the adopted mother of a teenage girl. She's hiding out from her parents, pretending to be living with her aunt. It's My Mama Osama. Hey, Chelsea, make sure you bring your lunch to school, and this to destroy the great Satan! Oh, Mama Osama, you don't mean that. Oh, Chelsea, you are my better angel. Ha 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 ha, laugh track. Aw, it doesn't work. You can't package Osama bin Laden ideology in funny stuff. So, it actually kind of has a serious tone throughout. So the problem with the packaging of this book is I feel like it missed the opportunity to do something. A character who is so victimized in her own mind that she believes she's justified in killing all life on Earth is a potentially very interesting character. But I think Victor LaValle, even though he kind of does some good things, like he'll have the dad say, you can't pretend this country hasn't made any progress since the Civil War, and she'll say, the whole damn country's a Civil War monument. Like, he actually has characters debating the point, and he's clearly representing the mother as evil. Yet I feel like he's giving the mother's worldview way too much credit, more than it deserves. So he's actually not treating her as someone who she's given herself a victimized identity. I think he's sympathizing with her and saying, yeah, she's actually been victimized by the white heteronormative patriarchy, and this has driven her to have this bad worldview, and I just want people to be hopeful and have hope for the future and be optimistic. Now, the problem with that is if you have a nihilistic worldview, if you accept Friedrich Nietzsche's The Death of God as truth, it's actually really heart-moving, the death of God, because you can feel the sadness in Friedrich Nietzsche as he's rejected God and he realizes what the terrible, tragic consequences are if you reject God, and he's kind of forcing himself to grapple with the sheer tragedy of it, of purposelessness. You can't slap always look on the bright side of life from Monty Python on the end to try to make everybody feel happy at the end. So the other question to me is Victor LaValle celebrating people getting killed and saying, man, I wish all these awful Trump-voting big, strong white men would get killed? Or is he kind of trying to make a point to SJWs to say, you know, SJWs, I know you're mad about the patriarchy, but maybe you shouldn't fantasize about people getting killed. And I'm kind of on the fence, because he'll do something where he'll kind of like humanize the person getting killed, and then he'll kind of make the point that, the Frankenstein's monster, the destroyer, he doesn't care about whether you're on the left or the right, or whether you like animals or hate animals. He just destroys humans in his path because he feels a connection to animal life, but he hates human life. And it's kind of interesting to me that he's like an interpretation of the Hulk. Now, the mom, she's like the super duper genius, and not just in one subject, but in every subject. And she's so funny-one-y. And some of the character motivations don't make sense. Like the director, I feel like the director is supposed to either be Ayn Rand or white feminism or woke capitalism. And so she sends like these agents to get the mom, but the agents immediately start shooting the mom even though they're supposed to get her. Later they say the director fired the mom because the mom was going to have a baby, but the mom's a super duper genius and the director needs her. Why'd she fire her if she needs her? All right, so let me show you an example of where things could be fixed. So there's this cool thing where like all the illegal immigrants are about to cross, and the destroyer just rips through the wall and kills all the illegal immigrants because he doesn't care about human life. And then he sees a bunch of Trump supporters waiting with a Gatling gun to kill all Mexicans because Border Patrol tipped him off. That's subtle. And he kills them too. So I think the point LaValle is trying to make is, he kills nice, innocent, illegal immigrants, and he kills awful, horrible, gun-toting Trump supporters. All right, let me help you out here. This kid's talking about how his mom's not there, and he's got this little worry cross. So who are all of these adults this little kid is with if he's not with his mom and dad? Well, let me help you out. This is probably a human trafficking ring. They took probably everything his parents owned in exchange for bringing him across the border. Since we know that Trump exists in this world, Obama existed in this world, and when you signal to illegal immigrants, there's going to be amnesty, we're going to be nice to people, we're going to give them a pathway to citizenship, people say, oh man, I got to get to the United States now. They're giving out amnesty. Even if you're not actually doing it, if they think you're going to do it, they start coming. And so the drug cartels and the sex trafficking cartels take all your money, they take your kid, and then they don't take your kid to America, they just sell him. And he's going to live a horrible life in torture as someone's slave forever. So actually him getting killed is a mercy. Now, if you had just had that, if you had an innocent boy and a bunch of drug cartel traffickers get killed, then when I turn the page and I say, oh God, Trump, a MAGA point, then it's like the Dave Chappelle sketch. Because Dave Chappelle makes fun of the alphabet people and he makes fun of white people, I don't interpret it as Dave Chappelle hates my guts. I interpret it as a gag at my expense, and I laugh. Like a little even-handedness, or just a little like, yeah, the left, how about that? And the right, how about that? That goes a long way. So the guys show up and things don't make sense. They keep shooting her, even though they're supposed to bring her alive. And she's kind of, there's like this really cool parallel between like her and Dr. Frankenstein. Like, are you playing God or are you just grieving over the death of your child? And want to bring now, the idea of a mother losing her son and wanting to bring him back seems really deep to me. But then when she talks about, microaggressions, oh man, women are so shrill. If I were a man, then everybody would love me. And I want maternity leave. It doesn't make any sense for her to have fired her because she's the only person who can be the super duper smart person. So what starts getting established is the mom hates everyone. She wants to burn it all down. I said this was going to be short, so I'm not going to go to 10 minutes. Basically, there are gags where I get the feeling that Victor LaValle likes to joke about people he doesn't like dying. Like there's a gag where like the white CIA agent goes inside the machine and the machine says nothing of value detected. They have a whole global warming thing where she's for global warming and she's for global warming. How about have one of them like not be big on global warming or something? And the symbolism's weird. Like, are we saying it'd be good if we all died because we're poisoning the earth? Or is this supposed to be sad that Shakespeare's gone because all the human beings are gone? It's a dreary, sad worldview. We're all gonna die. America is a Civil War monument. It's built on racism. I thought it was kind of clever that the Bride of Frankenstein, they referenced her without actually bringing a character. The Bride of Frankenstein as a character there. They just made a robot with lines on it that kind of vaguely evoke The Bride of Frankenstein. The father is actually a complicated character, but then they'll like reference Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown, but they won't actually like draw from the facts of the case. They'll redo it so that, oops, I went to 10 minutes. I lied. I'm a liar. Shame on me. All right. To wrap it up, where was I going with that? Okay, if you're going to draw on these real life facts and these real life cases, draw on them. Don't make a fake news version of it where you're pretending that. What would it be? All right, so the Michael Brown and the Trayvon Martin cases. The reason those became controversies is they don't lend themselves to simple little moral platitudes of this guy's right and this guy's wrong, this guy's good and this guy's evil, this guy's racist and this guy's a victim. In both of those cases, what's his name? Michael Zimmerman had like injuries on the back of his head, indicating that Trayvon Martin was probably like slamming him into the ground. So you could say, yeah, Zimmerman's an ass. He shouldn't be like going and bugging this kid. But it's not like an innocent little boy and a big meanie who just plans to kill him. It's more complicated than that. Michael Brown, he does. Eyewitnesses, black eyewitnesses, say they see Michael Brown try to take the gun. They see Michael Brown turn around and charge the police officer. And so in fake news world, when you are making a like moral platitude, you have to change it so that it's bad racist cop shoots innocent, perfect little boy in the back without provocation, which undermines it. It doesn't make me care then when you reference the real life cases that inspired you, because you're actually not taking inspiration from the real life cases. You are taking inspiration from the fake news world version of those. Complexity helps everything. Complexity helps you speak to people outside of your bubble. Complexity helps you make the people who already agree with you think. Yeah. But there are actually some like uplifting, redeeming moments where you get the feeling that this is actually trying to affirm the value of life. It's saying you shouldn't fantasize about killing people. But then like when it's trying to make a good point, it comes in and says, she's so short. That's it. 12 minutes. We got to be done. I'm number one Marmaduke fan. Destroyer it's one of the few books you should actually read that has SJW themes, just because Victor LaValle is at least arguing with himself. He's looking at the ideology, he's looking at maybe the radical implications of the ideology, and he's trying to think through it and make a wholesome point, but I think he's too trapped in an echo chamber to realize that if he broadens his perspective more, then there's an even more redemptive, more beautiful message to be found. I forgot my MAGA hat. I was going to set my MAGA hat right here. Well, do I have it? I don't think I have it. Oh, well, I'm number one Marmaduke fan. I love you guys. Catch you later.